What's up, y'all? It's your girl El Rochelle, the Hardwood Diva, and I am here for Thursday, October 2nd, and I'm giving you NFL Week 5 picks. Can't believe it's Week 5. This is already starting to move by quickly. Before we know it, it'll be February. Just so y'all know, my little one, which I did tell you guys about, I am pregnant, is due in February, like early February, like right after the Super Bowl. So please be prepared for the fact that I may not be giving y'all videos for the last couple weeks of the NFL postseason. Might just be typing them up, may not be doing videos because I may be looking crazy and I ain't prepared for that just yet. So we'll see. But let's get back to this week. So Thursday, 5:25 p.m. That's going to be this evening. Minnesota versus Green Bay on CBS and the NFL Network. Minnesota looked great last week with Teddy Bridgewater. He did get hurt, was taken out of the game late, but he is supposed to be playing tomorrow, or he's supposed to be playing, in this game. So I'm gonna go with Green Bay though, because Green Bay looked awesome. Aaron Rodgers told everyone to relax and just relax. And that was very smart because Green Bay came out and dominated in their game this past weekend. So I'm going with the Green Bay Packers. Definitely see that maybe they've kind of hit a little turn. This is a team that does know how to get where they need to go. So I'm going with the Green Bay Packers. Sunday, 10 a.m. games. We've got Houston versus Dallas. This is tough. Dallas is 3-1. Houston's 3-1. Both teams have been playing very well. Really liked what I saw out of Dallas this week versus New Orleans. This was a complete game, one of the very few that I've seen out of the Dallas Cowboys in a while. One thing to note, as good as Houston's defense is, they are not very good versus the run. And if you have a dynamic runner, they are quite porous when it comes to that. So I'm not really sure how this is going to work because DeMarco Murray is leading the NFL currently in rush yards. So, I know y'all gonna think this is just complete bias, and maybe part of it is, but I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys. I do see a complete team. Tony Romo looks better. He looks like he's finally turned the corner early on. That first week especially, he still looks like his back was stiff. This is a Tony Romo that I'm now seeing that actually is fluid in motion. He has a lot more range. And even without Des Bryant, because that's what Rob Ryan decided to do, completely take Des out of the game, they were still able to do things with other options, including DeMarco. Terrence Williams did well. So I see a team that has a lot of options and a team that actually will do very well, even versus a good defense. And they're at home, so I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys. Next up in the 10 a.m. games, Baltimore versus Indianapolis. I'm going with Indianapolis. They're just quietly doing very well. I like them. I've always liked them. I like Andrew Luck, even without the type of core receivers that we'd like to see him have. He's doing very well. Baltimore, of course, has discovered Steve Smith. He did amazing versus Carolina. I'm not sure if he's up the same way for this next game, so I'm going with the Colts. It could be a toss-up. Both teams have played well so far, but I'm going with Indianapolis. St. Louis Rams versus the Philadelphia Eagles. St. Louis just ain't St. Louis without Sam Bradford. Philadelphia has looked really bad. Well, looked really bad last week. They did get 21 points, right? But those points were off of, they were complete defensive, and their offense was horrible. Like, no rush yards from LaShawn McCoy. No yardage, rush, or receiving for Darren Sproles. This just isn't a team that we like to see. This isn't the Philadelphia team that we're expecting from a Chip Kelly offense. So I'm hoping they get their swagger back versus St. Louis. So I'm going with Philadelphia because this is the perfect opportunity to kind of reinstate that offense and get back to that ground and pound that they've done so well, and just kind of moving pieces and doing things different. I want to see that, so I'm hoping we see that this weekend. Atlanta Falcons versus New York Giants. Atlanta didn't look so well last week versus Minnesota. Giants are looking better, but I'm still going to go with Atlanta for this one. I'm not confident in the Giants at all. So, I'm going to go with Atlanta. Pittsburgh versus Jacksonville. Pittsburgh. Blake Bortles look better than they've seen in quarterback recently, but I still think Pittsburgh kind of is overall better. I love Antonio Brown. That is a personal favorite because I have him. I have him on my fantasy, and he keeps just killing it. So, yeah, good job, man. Thanks for helping Antonio out. So, I'm going with Pittsburgh for this one. Buffalo versus Detroit. Some people still don't think that Detroit is a true contender. But I'll go with Detroit. I think they're better than Buffalo, so I'll go with them. Plus, Buffalo is taking out E.J. Manuel and putting in Kyle Orton, right? Nah. Going with Detroit. Chicago versus Carolina. Now, this was tough for me because both of these teams are 2-2. Both of them have quarterbacks that have high highs and low lows. I'll go with Chicago because I do believe Chicago has a better run offense than Carolina currently has. Much better options. So I'm going to go with Chicago. I'm hoping Carolina kind of comes around. Last year, their defense actually is what helped them. But I don't really see that happening right now. So going with Chicago. Tampa Bay versus New Orleans. Tampa Bay didn't look so horrible last week. In fact, they were able to actually squeak out a win. Crazy. And they did it versus Pittsburgh. That was wild. That was definitely wild. But I'm going with the Saints because their Saints are at home. The Saints are really good at home. They suck away from home, as we saw when they played the Dallas Cowboys. But they're really good at home. And I just can't see them having two horrid games like they did with this last game. I can't see them having two of those in a row. So going with the New Orleans Saints. Cleveland Browns versus Tennessee Titans. Well, if this isn't two beyond mediocre teams, I don't know what it is. I'll go with Cleveland. Cleveland looks better than Tennessee in my opinion. So, Cleveland. The 1 o'clock afternoon games, we are going to have the Arizona Cardinals versus the Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos, they were off last week. I just like Denver Broncos. The only loss that they have currently is to Seattle. I definitely think that they can beat the Arizona Cardinals. So I'm going with Denver. Kansas City versus San Francisco. Now, had I not seen Kansas City do so well this past Monday, I don't know what I'd say. I'd probably just go wholeheartedly for San Francisco because San Francisco actually looked fairly good on defense last week. But Kansas City looks really good, especially with Jamal Charles back. Another one I've got on my team. I'm going to go with Kansas City. I do still think that San Francisco is on the upswing, but I just don't think they'll get this one versus Kansas City. Kansas City did a very good job of proving themselves this week against a tough team, even though, I mean, it was New England Patriots. It's still the Patriots lore and all that, and they could have played down. But I think they did a very good job offensively and defensively. So I'm going with Kansas City Chiefs. New York Jets versus the San Diego Chargers. Chargers look awesome. That's just how it is. Jets, not so much. So I'm going with the Chargers. 5:30 p.m. on Sunday, Cincinnati versus New England. New England looked bad, y'all. And Cincinnati's really good right now. So I'm going with Cincinnati. People, of course, have been asking, is this the end of Tom Brady? It's not the end in the sense that, like, this season or next season will be his last. But we getting close. We see it. It's on the horizon. It's down there. Maybe 3. Maybe 3. He say he wants to get out before he sucks. So if I were Tom, I'd get out at least after year 3. Because it's not looking. This isn't the same Tom Brady that can make names out of no names. He ain't got nobody on his team other than Gronk, and it looks like he ain't got nobody on his team even with Gronk. So sorry Tommy, y'all ain't doing so well. Cincinnati Monday, Seattle Seahawks versus the Washington football team. I ain't saying that name no more. Seattle. Yeah, that's easy. Seattle's really good. Washington's not. Her cousins looked horrible last time. So yeah, Seattle. They got it all. Defense, pass, rush. They good. So I'm going with Seattle. Because Washington don't really have much of that. Bye week. Miami and Oakland, who were both in London this past weekend, so they are getting to chill at home. Oakland is on their interim coach because they fired Dennis Allen a couple days ago. So that's interesting. We're going to see what Tony Sparano's got up his sleeve for that team, see if they're able to turn it around. They look good in spurts, but they just haven't done well. Like, they haven't put a whole game together. For the sake of Raiders fans, because I know lots of them, I'm really hoping they do that one day. One day this season. I know supposedly their GM is looking at John Gruden again, because that was like the last time the Raiders were any good. That GM clearly makes bad decisions, but you know, I don't want to get into that. So yeah, there you have it. These are my picks for the NFL Week 5. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions, concerns, statements, you want to fight me about something, go ahead and put it down in the box. I'm listening to your comments. Subscribe if you want to. Share this video. I'll holler at you later. Deuces.